Let's talk about how to solve a price elasticity of demand question. Let's consider the perfectly competitive market for sunflowers. Demand in this market is described by the function Q equals 100 minus 2P, where Q is bunches of sunflowers and P is the price per bunch. Now let's suppose that the current price of sunflowers is $10. With this information, we're going to determine the price elasticity of demand for sunflowers, and then we're going to determine if demand for sunflowers is elastic or inelastic. Let's talk about what we need to know in order to solve this question. We need to know the demand function as well as the price of the good. How are we going to solve this question? In order to find the price elasticity of demand for sunflowers, we just have to apply the relevant formula. This formula is price over quantity times the partial derivative of the demand function with respect to P. Let's solve this problem. So what do we know? We know the demand curve and the price. We're going to solve for the price elasticity of demand using the relevant formula. Now I want you to notice I've written this formula down with partial derivatives, but in this case, because demand depends only on price, we're not really finding a partial derivative, we're finding a standard derivative. But in a more complicated question, demand could depend on price as well as income or something like that. So as we solve this, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to substitute price into demand to find Q. So we have that the quantity demanded is equal to 100 minus 2 times 10. 100 minus 20 is equal to 80. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to apply my formula over here. And this formula requires that I know price and quantity as well as the derivative of demand. So price is provided, I've solved for quantity. Now I'm going to compute the derivative of demand with respect to P. So what is this derivative? It's very simple to find. It's just -2. So we have all the parts of our formula, and all that's left is to apply the relevant formula. So plugging in what we know, we find that the price elasticity of demand is equal to P of 10 over Q, which is 80, times that derivative, which is -2. And then we can simplify this if we wanted to. We have -20 over 80, canceling the 0 top and bottom, gives me -2/8, which we could rewrite as either a fourth or 0.25 if we prefer a decimal. We've determined that the price elasticity of demand is -0.25, but we have one more question we're going to answer. Is demand for sunflowers elastic or inelastic? Now, to answer this question, it's all about the value of elasticity and where it lives. And in this case, because elasticity is falling somewhere between -1 and 0, we know that the demand for sunflowers is inelastic. If instead we had a value that was more negative than -1, then we would call demand elastic. But here, because it's close to 0, we're calling it inelastic.